I'm Kim Jagtiani. Welcome back to Daily Planet Goes to India.
And I'm Jay Ingram. You know, to look at the Taj Mahal behind us, you'd never know that it was nearly 400 years old. But even older than the Taj is the ancient Indian practice of yoga. It's a mystic science, it's exercise to some it's a religion, it even is a way of life.
That's true. In fact, yoga is thousands of years old, and everyone has always talked about its health benefits, but now scientists are making their own discoveries.
It's early morning at the SVYASA Institute. And this group is performing a set of moves recognized the world over. They're practicing under the imposing figure of Swami Vivekananda, the man who introduced yoga to the West in the late 1800s.
Yoga is synonymous with a state called samatvam. That's a Sanskrit word for equilibrium or harmony. Harmony within and harmony with the world around. And if you take that even a little further, union with the universe.
In India, it's a way of life, something spiritual. For people in other parts of the world, yoga's a fitness regime and stress buster. Whatever the motivation, so many people are doing it that doctors here want to know exactly what it does for the body.
We track down what happens in the brain, what happens in the nervous system, what happens in our immune system, and the overall metabolic analysis, how it works.
Over the years, Dr. H.R. Nagendra and his colleagues have seen some fascinating effects. In one study, they gave asthma sufferers a strict regimen of pranayama, or voluntarily regulated breathing, along with simple postures and meditation. In as little as 2 weeks, their breathing capacity improved. And what's more, if they stuck with it long term, there were surprising results.
4.5 years of follow-up showed that there was a reduction of 80% medication in the yoga group, while there was an increase of 30% in the medication in the control group.
Yoga relaxes muscles and calms the nervous system, allowing the body's organs to function more effectively. It also reduces stress of all kinds. That's because we always respond the same way, no matter what the trauma.
The heart rate goes up, the blood sugar level increases, the blood pressure goes up, and these are not good effects.
Over time, yoga practitioners can learn to regulate their heart rate. These researchers found that when people had a light meter to guide them, they could modify their breathing enough to reduce their pulse rate by as many as 23 beats a minute after only a month of training. Even without the visual aid, people could drop it by 8 beats a minute. Yoga doesn't just help to manage stress, it can improve concentration, even through individual postures. In another study, 40 people performed the headstand with varying degrees of skill. Some got up in 1 step, others in 2. As they began, a specific part of the nervous system was engaged.
There is a sort of overdrive in the system, which is normally active when a person is faced with a stressor and has to cope by either fight or flight.
The headstand helps to overcome that by increasing circulation to the brain and steadying the pulse. And although it can lead to sweaty palms, these are all signs of an increased alertness and improved concentration. But then yoga is supposed to focus the mind. That's why people meditate, sitting still or lying flat. But many are restless and some fall asleep. So Dr. Nagendra is currently evaluating a modern-day solution based on an ancient yoga text.
It says, when the mind is going towards drowsiness, sleepiness, awaken it. When the mind becomes distracted, calm down the mind.
Try to stay relaxed.
Based on this, Dr. Nagendra designed something called cyclic meditation.
It's a half-an-hour program, normally given, and gives very intense relaxation. Almost 3 times more rest than 6 hours of good sleep.
Keep your eyes closed.
Cyclic meditation combines periods of relaxation with simple yoga postures. People consumed 15% less oxygen when they followed this routine rather than just lying flat. That means they were more rested. And brainwave activity of people performing simple tasks after cyclic meditation showed improved concentration.
So it obviously shows that there are subsystems in the brain which can allow us to be attentive without being stressed. And this needs further work to understand which those subsystems are.
After hundreds of studies, these researchers are now designing yoga programs for schools and businesses like watch factories.
Yoga also improves dexterity, that is the ability to do very skilled tasks with the fine muscles of the fingers.
They've also developed a regimen for Air Force pilots.
And what we found was at the end of a 45-minute practice over a 1-month period, they were able to see a flickering light even when it is flickering at very high frequencies, and also it reduced their perception of optical illusions.
More work is needed to know whether that's a result of changes in the eyes, the brain, or both. These researchers are continuing to look at yoga's benefits for everything from schizophrenia and tuberculosis to arthritis and cancer. Regardless of what they find, they know what most Indians have known for the last 5,000 years.
Yoga is a practice which can easily be incorporated into anyone's everyday routine. Yoga postures, there's the regulated breathing, there's meditation. Any one of these or all of them collectively can produce benefits which can be seen in as short a time as 10 days, depending upon the type of benefits you're looking at.
Later on in the program, we'll look at how a piece of India's train history is once again hitting the rails.
Coming up next, India's space program jumps onto the world stage.